As we discussed in the capillary portion of the cardiovascular unit, more fluid is pushed out on the arterial side of a capillary bed than is returned on the venous side, and that would cause fluid to start to pool up or accumulate in the interstitial space between the cardiovascular system and the other body tissues. The lymphatic system is responsible for returning this extra fluid back to circulation. Lymphatic capillaries interweave with the cardiovascular capillaries. Accumulating fluid because of that lack of return on the venous side causes an increase in pressure in this area, which forces fluid into a series of lymphatic vessels. Lymph fluid passes through a series of vessels and nodes on the way back to circulation. Unlike the cardiovascular system, lymph only travels in one direction, toward the heart. The lymphatic system does not contain its own pump. There is no lymph heart, and because of that, the lymph system has very low pressure. The transport of lymph fluid relies on the same kinds of mechanisms as blood flow in veins. We're relying on the pressure caused by the contractions of surrounding skeletal muscles, the pressure changes with breathing, even the pressure changes of surrounding arteries contracting to propel blood through circulation can provide enough pressure to force fluid through the lymphatic system. On top of being a system to return fluid back to circulation, the lymphoid organs are also the structural basis of the immune system. These lymphoid organs include the lymph nodes that are scattered around the lymph vessels, as well as a series of other organs scattered through the body, like the spleen, thymus, tonsils, and some others. Lymphatic capillaries interweave with the cardiovascular capillaries. As the pressure in the interstitial space rises above pressure in the lymph vessel, it forces many valves in the end of the lymph vessel to open, and the pressure difference between the interstitial space and the lymphatic vessel forces fluid to rush in to that lymphatic vessel, carrying with it not only fluid, but any proteins that had been pushed out of the cardiovascular system, because those proteins can't be returned on the venous side of a capillary bed. We need this other system to help us return those proteins back to circulation as well. And in times of inflammation, larger things like pathogens are also forced into the lymph vessels, and from there funneled through those organs that make the structural basis of our immune system. From the lymphatic vessels, lymph flows through successively larger channels. It collects together in the collecting lymphatic vessels. These collecting lymphatic vessels have the same three kinds of tunics as veins, but are much, much thinner. Those collecting vessels then unite to form the lymphatic trunks, and those lymphatic trunks eventually merge to form the two large ducts of the lymphatic system. There are two major lymphatic ducts. There's the right lymphatic duct that drains fluid from the right upper limb and the right side of the head and thorax, and there's the thoracic duct that drains fluid from the rest of the body. Both of these ducts empty into the junction of the jugular vein and the subclavian vein on their respective side of the body, the right lymphatic duct dumping into the right subclavian vein, and the thoracic duct dumping into the left subclavian vein.